What's up, YouTube land? It's your boy Anton, aka Dr. Mix-a-Lot, and today I'm here to talk to you about another mobile bartending myth, which is that you need a whole lot of money to start your mobile bartending business up. Now, in my experience, that's absolutely not true. In fact, I know from experience because I had to start from the ground up myself, basically as a broke grad student out of a job, full-time job for a year and a half, moonlighting as a bartender with school loans and rent to pay. I was still able to build this business from the ground up, now averaging about 100 parties a year and in operation for the last 7 years. So with that, I wanted to just give you some tips to show you how I did it because I know you can do it too. So what I want to do is kind of break this up into kind of 3 different levels of kind of the things you need to get, because when you first start off, obviously you're going to have not that many tools. So that's what I like to call the freelancer level. These are the type of people maybe I might hire from the Maryland for the Bartending Academy. In my case, it's the Maryland Bartending Academy. People just kind of looking for work, have a couple tools here and there, can show up to a party that has everything and can just show, pour, do their job and leave. The next level is what I call the mobile bartending business LITE, where you're kind of almost a full-fledged mobile bartending business, but you have more tools at your disposal that you can have for bigger parties. But then you're lacking some certain things, which is the next level, which I call the fully operational mobile bartending business, which I'm currently in, where you have different credentials like a business license, insurance, kind of things of that nature that make you more of a legitimate operating business, and again will allow you to get to the next level of parties. So as I break that down, I want to mention to you, these are very conservative estimates of the startup costs that we're talking about here. I'm going to first start off with each of the items, give you the price, and keep in mind that these prices were determined from barsupplies.com, Google Shopping, which I basically looked up right as I was making this list, and then expenses that I have experience with when it comes to the business licenses, insurance, things of that nature, things that I've actually paid money for, which again are conservative estimates. So starting off at the freelance level, you will definitely, and these again are essentials. These are things that you have to have, assuming that the customer has every single thing else, that you can basically just show up there and pour some drinks and you're gone. You don't have to provide anything else. With that said, you do meet this bare minimum standard. The first 2, if you show up with these, don't even bother to show up because you're not ready to freelance bartend yet. But it's a bottle opener and wine key. You can find each of these for $5 to $10 max. Again, barsupplies.com, barproducts.com, nothing in particular. You can buy these anywhere. Normally, I prefer like a bottle opener with the V rod, they call it, because that allows you to get off the pores off of the bottles easier. And all of these things that I'm talking about, I'll gloss over it, but there's going to be extra videos where I go into this in much more detail. The next, again, is a wine key, obviously to open wine, and especially you can open beer bottles with this too. So this serves as a double and is completely essential for your bartending business. The next is a strainer, mixing tins, which again you can get from $5 to $10 off of those websites that I talked about, or just Google it. And then after that, now with the mixing tins, it depends on what you like. Some people like the 3-piece, all-in-one set. I personally abhor those, but that's just my personal flow. And I like the 28-ounce and 18-ounce separate mixing tins with the strainer, 3-piece, because I'm just bartending old school like that. You also want to have some speed pourers, which are just the little spouts you put on top of your bartending bottles, which again just give you a more professional look, make things more efficient, and you can get your counts and stuff right. Other than just those basic supplies, obviously you're going to want to have your outfit. I like to go with the bow tie sometimes. It kind of just fits the brand. But simply you just need just a regular shirt, a tie or bow tie, doesn't matter. and then usually like a black vest. This is a standard uniform that me and my other bartenders wear to any event, and it pretty much works anywhere you go. And at the least you can at least roll up your sleeves, take your tie off if it's a hot day. But most customers are pretty much cool with this event. You have to worry about it. You'll also want to get some no-slip shoes, which cost. Oh, and with the outfit, I'm giving that about $100. You can buy a $30 shirt, $20 tie, $20 vest. It really even shouldn't cost $100, but I'm giving it that much conservatively. The next are some non-slip shoes, which you'll definitely want to have. You don't want to bust your butt in front of everybody and create a liability for everybody. So that's just standard server one-on-one stuff. You'll make sure you get some non-slip shoes, which I'm allowing $50 for that. And next, which you wouldn't think, but I completely think you need this as a freelancer, business cards. You can do them at FedEx, you can go to Vistaprint, wherever. Just get yourself 100 business cards. Doesn't even matter how fancy they are. Just get your name, your number, contact information, and you will thank me later with all the money you make from those. So that grand total, with all that said, comes to about $300. So again, if you show up to an event where the customer has everything, you can just basically accumulate these things with no more than $300. And again, it's a very, very conservative estimate. You should be able to do it for less if you get creative. But you should be able to start with that and show up to an event and be able to work it with that level. Now the next level I'm going to talk about is what I call the mobile bartending business LITE, where you're a lot more functional and operational. But there are some certain things that you may lack that will exclude you from certain parties like corporate events and things of that nature. But with that said, I honestly, even with bartenders I know are fully operational with all the stuff I'm going to talk to you about at the next level, they are actually very pleasantly impressed how well prepared I am with the tools that I'm about to give to you now. So if you get these tools, trust me, you will be ahead of the game with no problem. So in addition to what I just talked about, the next thing you want to do is get some service mats. And those are just things you can have in case, you spill, whatever, it keeps your stuff clean. You'll also want to get a small ice tub, maybe anywhere from like 2 to 3 gallons max, just to serve some clean serving ice. 13-gallon tubs, which are more medium-sized tubs, which you can put waste liquid in and do some small storage things with those. And then your 17-gallon tubs with the ropes, the whole thing where you can lug it. Between those, if you get 2 of those, each of those, you'll have everything you need and then some for storage. And then on top of that, you will definitely want to get a cooler. I have a 52-quart cooler with wheels, which again, you'll thank me later for the wheels. But if you have all that stuff, you'll be able to store anything. I've worked parties as big as 200 people and stored everything I needed in those coolers, no fridges, no problem. The next you'll want to get is a fruit caddy. And again, I'm sorry, I missed the prices on those. With the service mats, expect to pay about $10. The coolers you can get with the smaller ones about up to $15. The medium-sized ones up to about 20 to 30, and then your big cooler, you'll probably spend up to $60 on that. You also want to get a fruit caddy and a napkin caddy. Each of those you can get for $5 to $20 max. Nothing fancy, but just stuff to hold your napkins, hold your business cards, and then hold fruit. And the great thing about those is that they have these 4 to 6 compartment ones with cutting boards that come with them, the whole package, and you can get those for pretty cheap as well. You can also get a cutting board separately, which again shouldn't cost you any more than $10. A 6-foot folding table with handle, again, is going to come in huge handy for any customers that want a bar table. And the beauty about all of these things that I'm listing is that you can charge extra for these things. I choose to provide some for free, charge extra for others, but just depending on the level of effort it takes for you to get that stuff, you can certainly charge the customer for that, and that's no problem. And then some other little knickknacks. You want to get, a muddler, especially for your old fashions, where my real bartenders know, $5. Straws and stir sticks. Again, you don't have to have those, but customers will love you if you showed up prepared. anywhere. Don't spend any more than 20 bucks and you'll have those for at least a few weeks. And then the next part of this, though, that's very important is advertising. You will want to set aside a good maybe $500 a year for advertising, sometimes more, sometimes less, depends on what you do. I personally advertise a lot through Gig Salad, which they have a 3-month membership for $139 for those 3 months, which basically comes out to about 415 bucks, plus taxes, of course, on the year. But the parties I bring in well pays for that, so that's no problem at all. And also on the next level, you want to have your alcohol awareness certificate, because again, this will get you to that next level of parties where you can technically show up and work without a alcohol awareness certificate, which I explained in other videos, but you're going to want to have that. And if you have that, there will be some parties you'll be able to work that other bartenders aren't able to work. So that kind of wraps up the mobile bartending light part. And with that grand total, with all the other things I mentioned with just the basic freelancer package, comes out to about $1,200. And again, this is getting things redundant in twos, a lot of this stuff. And you can, again, kind of pick things up piecemeal here and there. It really even shouldn't cost you that much. So again, I'm demonstrating that you can easily have a startup of a mobile bartending business for easily $1,000 or less, again, if you get creative and resourceful. Now, when you want to really level up, which is where I really started getting the volume of my parties and leads, you're going to want to really go legit business, where I'm talking about business license and insurance. So a business license in your state, typically, for me, it costs $300 to register in Maryland and keep that going on a yearly basis. But that's really no problem, again, compared to the parties you're going to pull in if you operate that way. The big whammy is insurance, which you're going to want to get liquor liability insurance and general liability insurance. Again, you can operate without either at your own risk, but I highly, highly recommend you make that investment. And again, this will put you on another level of parties you're able to service, because you will have those inevitable customers, especially corporate customers and big venue events that will require you to have be an operating business like an LLC, S Corp, C Corp, what have you, and have insurance. Now, on top of that, some good things, some extra things you'll want to do, especially when you get to a level where you're dealing with a lot of volume, and I'll talk about these more in detail in other videos, is you're going to want to have a virtual assistant, actually. Again, I'm a really busy dad, and full-time job, all that stuff, and yet I'm able to take up to, about 500 leads a year, and I book about 100 a year. And I'm able to do that in my spare time because I have a virtual assistant. In fact, I've been operating without one since the pandemic, just to kind of cut some costs while I get back on my feet. And it's brutal, let me tell you. So you definitely, if you want to operate efficiently, keep your customers happy, and still take on a lot of volume, you're going to want to get a virtual assistant. Now they can, I'm sad to say, if you get a good one, and I'll explain that in other videos how to find one, it can be anywhere from $10 to $12, depending on the package you get. A lot of these, they bundle the hours in the packages so you can get them each hour cheaper. But for a typical operating year, I wouldn't pay more than $1,500 to $1,600 on that. And again, this is assuming the fact that you're going to be having a lot of volume to help you with that. The next you want to get is an accountant. Everybody's going to tell you that you can do accounting on your own. That's fine if you choose to believe that. Me personally, I choose to spend more time booking leads and use that extra money to pay for an accountant to take care of all of that. And again, you can find a pretty decent, not even accountant, but even just a bookkeeper for $20 to $30 an hour that you're going to use maybe about 50 hours a year, which should come out to about $1,500 or so. But with all that said, all of that grand total with the fully operational expenses comes to about what I've calculated, $6,200 a year. Now, if you think about it, again, I operate with about 100 gigs a year booked, and I'm average about $200 a party, sometimes more, sometimes less. With that said, if you think about that, that's $20,000 in revenue. So even if you do half of those parties, 50% of that, maybe even 40% of that, you still should easily come out in the black. So I've shown and demonstrated how you can start a mobile bartending business fully operational for less than $7,000. And again, think about the fact that you can do this piecemeal and you don't have to do everything all at once. You can slowly accumulate as a freelancer, move up to the mobile business LITE, and then do the fully operational within a year or two of growing. So I wanted to just show you how achievable that is, and then again, I'm going to go into more detail about the tools and the administrative side of the business in other videos. But if you like this video, make sure you click the like or subscribe button. This is Dr. Mix-a-Lot signing off. As always, happy mixing, and cheers to excellent service.